split it, and then you put the. I can't go back to graham crackers again.
No more graham crackers on the s'mores for Tim.
Yeah, after doing Oreo, marshmallow in the middle.
Now,
because you got the
so like
Oreo, you got the Oreo icing and the marshmallow.
That was my next question. Do you lick the icing off and go raw dog Oreo shells, or
no?
You keep the icing,
yeah.
And then you add the mallow as well.
Yeah, because it adds a little extra sweetness to it.
Now, like normal size Oreos, or are there like bigger ones that you get?
These are the double stuff, but they're. Brett and I like to get the gluten-free. They have gluten-free Oreos, believe it or not.
But don't tell me that.
They do.
Don't tell me that.
I think they taste better.
Because I don't think they have dairy in Oreos either.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Oreos and Oreo, you know you're eating shit regardless, but...
If I find gluten-free Oreos that also don't have dairy, I'm in big trouble, Tim. I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
I like Oreos.
We may just get them for a podcast episode and just finish them more.
Fine, I'm down. Episode 200 when we go live, just smash an entire row of Oreos.
Yeah. I can't believe we're almost there, man. Cannot believe
we're almost at 200 episodes, which is like, I try to not compare, right? Because like people at over 1,000 and someone else is at 600. But it's like, man, 200 episodes.
Yeah.
And that's, call it at least an hour each, some an hour and a half, some 50 minutes, some 40. Like, so that's a lot of hours of recording time.
Yeah. And I even though we're almost at 200, I still have the feeling of excitement that this is just the beginning. Like, cause
100%.
We're constantly improving our show. We're learning different things as we go. I mean, there's things I wish I would have known earlier, but
sure,
the fact that you got to execute now in the next 24 hours. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and I think we hit different strides. We keep hitting different strides.
Like
with our actual content, like what we're, not that we have scripts, but our list of ideas and topics and things, that's organized. We know how the flow of the show is gonna go for the most part. Our video editing is getting really dialed in. You're doing a killer job on cutting good clips.
Thank you.
I know we're gonna mess with I'll do more long form stuff, so the YouTube has the full thing, right? I want to nice that up to where I can take your clips of when something is just on you when you're talking about it, and then if we're both in conversation, it goes back to our full pan. I really want to I would love to take that part, and so since you're already doing clips, that's exactly where I'll fit those in, and then it pans back out. It goes in on one of us, pans back out. I think that'd be a nice touch.
It would be.
For the YouTube. But I think we're getting multiple camera angles. We're really upping our production value, and it's I just keep falling more in love with how we're doing things.
Yeah, same. And for what this really means for the listeners and people who are with us right now is we want to give you guys a place where you can go and get actionable information that you can apply right away. So whether you're going to our Instagram or our YouTube, we have clips that if you want to learn about a certain thing, we have a video clip of us explaining how to do that. We're trying to be better about that, and whether it's just our episodes, me and Colin, me and you, or if it's interviews, we want to make sure we're serving you guys the best way possible so that you can become the best version of yourself, but also highlight really unique individuals. So
yeah, 100%.
This is amazing.
And we've talked about our guest list and who we're bringing onto the show, and just continuing to get higher end guests.
Yeah, I wish y'all could have seen the Snapchat that Slager sent me last night of his whiteboard of the guests that he's going to be reaching out to. Man,
I just had to make a list. I had to put it all down, and I can use Excel and things, but for me, I like big dry erase boards. I constantly see it. I can close out of an Excel and not look at it for a week. They're in my room. I have my golf program up on there, my outline, videos I still need to finish. But when I can see it every day, it's all right, I gotta email at least one more person. Let me just at least send one more email. All right, then I note next to it, emailed on whatever date. Then when they follow up, communicated on this day. So, and I can just kind of watch the progress. And it's a little more self-accountable than me just having an Excel doc, which is useful, but for me, that's just how I work better is with, and I just like dry race sports. So,
Yeah.
But I think
No, that's perfect.
me, I'm such a visual learner with everything that helps me to stay on task.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you bringing that up because, like, you become what you think about. And so when you write things around your common living space that you can see on a daily basis, whether it's a marker board, whether it's an index card, anything that you're going to visually see and read every day, like, a man becomes what he thinks about all day long.
Yep.
So, like, if you have that stuff there, like, it's going to happen if you continuously look at it, but also execute on it as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I can cross that off.
Yeah.
Like dry race, I can cross
it's
that
so
off.
gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about guests in terms of, we had a conversation of finding guests that maybe they could use what our businesses do, but also are interested in being on the podcast, where it would be a great individual or company in both lanes. And it just made me think of that guest list differently. Like, okay, do I know anyone trying to make it in golf? And we know, like, Logan Holt. I think that'd be an interesting conversation. He's doing I saw his schedule of 2022, all these tournaments that he's in. And it's like, all right, let's talk to someone who's trying to get on that path. And then, because golf is a niche of mine. All right, I know a couple of guys I went to high school with, haven't talked to them for years, but they're cage fighters now. They're in like the UFC Contender Series and have bigger fights. Like, okay, I want to get in the world of combat. Let's see if they want to come on the show. And it helped me really get a tighter and just better planned list. So that tip, when you brought that up, that helped me create that list. And then I'm like, oh, I have 10 to 15 high quality people that are, and others that are high up in a corporate role or different business of their own, those two. But then I got super narrowed with the niche. It was like, all right, what people do I already know that would be a high level guest and a great conversation?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and I think we really do hit the sweet spot with our interviews when, obviously, there's two components to any guest we bring on. There's the storytelling aspect that they bring on, but there's also the lessons learned. So the best interviews are able to kind of marry those two together, and someone's able to tell their story, but also recap the lessons they've learned along the way. Just like Randy Brown, who we're going to have.
Dude, that was
by the time this releases, it would have been last week. So we just released it last Friday. So, yeah, for sure.
That was such a good conversation, man.
Yeah.
I like, we have fun with all of our guests, but that one, I felt like we laughed a whole lot more than other conversations. Like, just, we were quick-witted. We had, just jabbed things in here and there. It was just a good time with a lot of value.
Yeah.
And that was my first time ever talking to him.
Yeah.
And, we all hit it off, and it was...
Yeah.
We were the Three Musketeers just hanging out.
Yeah. Randy Brown, he was the chief HR officer at Anthem, but now he's at Butler University mentoring over 150 MBA students and undergraduate students. So he's around young, vibrant people, and you can tell that he shares those same qualities, and he's a very upbeat, energetic guy, and I think you guys are going to love that interview.
Yeah.
So
you see the kid in him still come out.
Definitely.
And it's fun when you see adults that still, they got their kid side to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so,
yeah, man. Dude, I was on the way up here. It was, I don't know, a simple thing that kind of pleases me, I guess. Because I see a lot of drivers try to beat an ambulance, a fire truck, a cop, run through blatant red lights.
Beat me, turn onto the same road that I'm driving on. I see that too.
Yeah, that, and so, but especially with, an emergency responder.
Yeah.
And it's like, pull your ass to the right.
Yeah.
They need to go.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you have to get to is not as important as that cop with going loud lights and sirens.
Yeah.
Like, they have likely a life or death situation. You're late for work a little bit, whatever. And so we're coming up north, and we see this cop coming south. We're at the intersection. Light had just turned green. But we see this cop at least a couple 100 yards away. And so easily, people could have started to go. He's on the right side. Unlikely he's going to cut across the intersection. But everyone waited. Like, no one moved. And like I said, a couple 100 yards off, we saw him coming from ways away. And everyone waited till he was all the way through, he or she, I guess. And then people went. And I don't know, like I was satisfied with that. I'm like, you know what? Good job, everyone on the line here.
Yeah.
Just good job all around.
You should have got out of your car and clapped.
They're like, hey, stand up, everyone, take a bow.
Guys, wait, just pause a second.
Yeah, but it's just small things like that. And I was like, go you guys. Mm-hmm. Good job, society. Just like, we easily could have gone. Half of us could have gotten through this green light. And everyone just waited just to make sure.
Yeah.
And
it's not. It's refreshing. You're right. You're right.
It was like, good job. Like, he's going super fast, loud for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all wait. And then 2 minutes down the road, you see the ambulance coming by. Because I think cops have to go first, make sure it's all safe. But then that ambulance was likely going to the same call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so just refreshing to see.
Yeah. It's kind of like morbid and messed up to think about it this way, but how would you react if that ambulance was going to save one of your loved ones? Like how fast would you want them to get there?
100%.
So,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
but we never want to put that into existence. But like, how would you act?
Yeah, shoe on the other foot test.
Yeah, right.
So, cool. So what's going on in the life of Tim?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give one quick like life update and then business updates as well. So Butler University has something called the Butler University Student Foundation. They call it BUSF. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for.
Okay.
But pretty much there's a program that they do where they match undergraduate students with like alumni one-on-one so they can kind of like mentor them and like help them throughout their transition to working life. So I applied for it and got into it, luckily.
Nice, dude.
And so so I'm doing that. I have the first call with my mentee. By the time this airs, it'll be last week. I had my first meeting, and I'm really excited because I think, especially after having our conversation with Randy last week, because like this is what he does with students, like he mentors them, and I'm excited to see what I can teach the student. But I also know the student's going to teach me a lot of things as well. So I'm gonna go on it with a learning attitude, and I'm just excited, like especially from like. As I continue to build out my career coaching arm of my business, this will continue to give me good experience in doing that, but also learning from college students who I continue to work with for my business. So, and it'll be cool and not challenging, but a healthy challenge because the person I'm matched with is studying abroad right now in Barcelona. Okay. So time change and won't be able to meet in person, but we'll be doing video calls, and I think it'll be really good. And I think I'll be taking a lot of principles and lessons from Randy's episode because he says a lot of stuff in there. So
nice.
Yeah.
How often are your calls?
It'll probably be once a month first, once or twice a month. That's kind of what the first call is going to be about. It's like, hey, like given your schedule, given my schedule, what's the best like healthy flow to meet? Like, what do you want to do? So we'll figure that out a lot on the first call, and I'll continue to like update you as enhance the relationship and go through that, and
please do
on the show. And I'm trying to decide like, because I want to give as much value, and will there be opportunities for me to like create content from doing stuff like this too? So
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but I had a friend reach out to me asking if I wanted to, mentor someone from Butler. I don't know if it's the same foundation. He said they only meet like a few times in a semester.
Yeah.
Because at first I was concerned about like available time. Like if I'm gonna do something, I want to be able to give them good shit.
Yeah.
Good time and attention. But I'll have to see if it's the same thing because I was thinking about that as well. But
because I feel like a lot of the students in this program specifically, and depending on who you work with, like a lot of the students that applied for this on the mentee side, they're all like high achieve, like very involved people. So they have busy schedules as well. It's not like these students are like troubled students that need help. Like these are students that are already like performing really well, and I think it'll be a good match. And I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool for you to see like what they ask you.
Yeah.
About real world. I mean, not real world, but like post grad life of actually being in the working force, especially running your own business. I'll be intrigued to hear the types of questions that they're asking you, what they really want to know, what's on their mind. But this is, you and I have talked about, doing adjunct work at some point in our careers to teach them simple things like personal finances, having bills, insurance, all the extras that you really don't learn in college. Like, we'll get taught covered calls in finance, but then don't know how to manage our own money, or like how to use a credit card, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'll be cool because you'll probably be able to get into some of those just everyday applicable things.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And you make a good point there about like what we learn, because obviously like in college, when you're in a lecture setting, they're teaching a lesson or an idea to a wide group of audience, and it's more like not one size fits all, but like it's advice for multiple people at a time. The best advice you're really going to get going through college is asking those one-on-one questions and taking that initiative, and like going to office hours for a professor, or seeking out people within the department or university that have done it before, or doing programs like this, like situations where you have the full floor to ask unique questions and get that unique advice from someone because it's catered to you because you asked the question. So,
right.
Yeah.
And do they pair you with someone who's going to be in like a related field?
I'm not sure what went into the selection process.
Like, are they in an entrepreneurship program?
So the person I'm working with is, I think they're in the Fairbanks, so strategic communications major. That's what the signature said. And this person is like the editor-in-chief of, I'm not going to give the name, but this person is like an editor for like the newspaper, so they're a writer.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if they try to find a few similarities. That makes sense.
Yeah, I can just tell based on what they do. Like, there will be a lot in common to talk about. So
man, I'll be excited to hear how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that, and then I would just say for the business, making more specific career coaching packages. So initially, I have packages that have a bunch of things bundled into one, but I'm trying to make more like one-off actionable programs and packages that I can give to people. So I'll have like one package that is designed for someone who works at a company and they want to internally advance and they want to apply for an internal position and get promoted. I have a program specifically for that that's going to walk a person through that.
Nice.
I have someone that wants to do external advancement. If they're done with their company and they want to look elsewhere and they want to take a step up and make a higher salary, go from analyst to director, different stuff like that, program for that. Career change process for someone who wants to get into a role that's more work-life balance and maybe take a step back, that type of change. So I'm trying to create like sustainable like packages that have enough actionable information and like content and substance to them, but are also niche enough for different situations that I notice people face based on the research that I do that we'll talk about here in a little bit about how we find what our customers want. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited for that. I think it'll be good. Just kind of like playing around, restructuring my packages type of thing. So, and being more strategic and niche and solving a customer problem as best as I can.
Yeah. And that, it's simpler than if you put all that in one big ebook. Like, which ebooks are good. You have a good ebook out there, which everyone should go buy on Amazon. Give that full title real quick for us, Tim.
How to Write a Resume.
I thought it was longer than that.
Somewhat.
Okay.
It's been a while since I revisited.
I didn't want to butcher it.
Pretty much, it walks you through like if you want to write like obviously you can hire me to write your resume and I can get it back to you within 48 hours. But if you want like actionable steps on like, hey, like I don't know what I've done with my career. I've been working for X amount of years. I don't know where to start. This ebook will give you all the questions, exercises, tools you need to build a resume, a portfolio, a credential, like whatever you want to build about yourself, it's all in there. So it's not just resume, it's like things that you can ask about yourself to put your accomplishments on paper.
Love it.
Yeah.
But I think how you're breaking it down, it's simpler for people where it's very specific, like you were saying, where, oh, this is my problem, I need this guide. And they don't need the other however many. If someone's, oh, I'm done with my company. I'm out this bitch. This is the one I need. Hey, maybe that's a good working title. I'm out this bitch.
Yeah, dude, and you've given me some ideas right now that I need to jot down.
Yeah, jot them
down. Another thing that I'm gonna do is like I work with a lot of people who are in education. They're a teacher, but they want to transition to something else. So I'm gonna have a program for transitioning out of education.
I might have someone, I don't know how soon, but I might have a guy doing exactly that.
Yeah, I really do enjoy working with teachers. Teachers are so like multifaceted. They have so many transferable skills from education that can be applied to being a corporate trainer or writing curriculum for X company, instructional design. Like any company is educating either their employees or their customers. So like there's so many ways you can fit into any organization if you're a teacher looking to achieve whatever you want to achieve. More money, more flexibility, whatever. There's so much more out there.
Love it. Anything else going on?
No, the content creation, I figured that would just be something that I talk about in tandem with what you're probably going to talk about.
Love it. Love it.
I'm good on my end.
Cool. Let's see. What's new? Oh, I saw my parents. Visited my parents. Yeah, it was funny. My mom was like, because I had to go up where my car is registered. I still have to like take a stupid emissions test to get my registration renewed. Yeah. Anyway, so it's up that way, and so I was like, well, I'll just stay there for the weekend. And of course, my mom gets excited like when I visit, of course, and so she was telling me, yeah, I told all my friends that like you're taking me out for dinner on Saturday. I was like, oh. Okay, she goes, yeah, I didn't tell you yet, but you're going to take me out for dinner on Saturday. And I was like, you finagling, you professional finagler. Yeah. And so we went to one of our favorite Italian spots. You know, they're friends with the owner and stuff, so he comes over. He and I are doing limoncello. But it was just fun that, you know, my dad had some other event, and we just got to hang out. And I don't get to do that with either of my parents a lot. Like, usually they're together. Makes sense. But it's nice to just have a little one-on-one time. And so, yeah, we had a good time. We ate it up. We ate everything. And,
good, as you should.
But yeah, so that was a good time. That's probably the most exciting thing in the last week. I mean, outside of my normal. Other than that, my training is very different for me personally, just because, you know, someone listening, I'm not saying I'm any expert, very new to jiu-jitsu, but I really enjoy it, like a lot. And probably a few months in, like I said, so still super green, king of tapping out. And, but I'm getting to the point of recognizing things and being able to incorporate things we learn. But I also took this from Sean Whalen, because he started Lions Not Sheep. He's been in real estate, but he started racing cars. And he's like, you got to be okay to suck at something for a while. And I think that's good for me, because I haven't had something like that as of late. Not saying I'm like the best at everything I do. I think I'm very good like at movement and with clients and patients, training people. I think I'm good at training myself. I'm good at being in the gym. Like CrossFit workouts, I've acquired skills, I'm experienced with that, but I haven't had something where I'm starting at absolute zero. And I think that's good for everyone once in a while, to start something at absolute zero and just be bad at it. Right. Because your mindset has to accept that you just can't do it. You don't have the knowledge or the skills yet. And
keyword not can't do it yet.
Right. And so I'm staying consistent, but now my weight training's a little different. I'm not chasing different heavy lift PRs right now. I'm still moving heavy weight, but I've just tailored my training a little bit because I want to really get good at this.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I wanted this type of skill, something combative, some other tool in my belt to have, and now I just really enjoy it. And it's also a hell of a workout. Like, I finish a few rounds of sparring with someone and I am drenched in sweat. Yeah. Just drenched. So I really didn't know how much I needed it until I started doing it, and now I have to have it. Yeah. And it's just kind of fun to find those things where a few years ago I didn't think I'd get into combat sport, and now I want to get into it with clients and myself. I really like it. So that's probably the newest thing that I've really honed in on lately outside of business, just like as my personal endeavors. And it's just, you know, I have to be okay sucking at it. Yeah. But it's fun to find out all the things I don't know, how we can manipulate someone's body, a joint, you know, just, it's cool.
Yeah. So. No, that's good. And it sounds like you have like a very clear direction of like where you're trying to go with it. And
yeah,
that goes back to what we were saying before, like write it out, like write what you want to become out and speak it into existence every day. Because like you may suck at it now, and I think suck's a strong word. Like you're just not good at it. You're not like the best at it yet. You're just not good right now. Like that type of thing.
Yeah, I
like,
don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, that's good. And I'm looking back on our last episode that you and I did solo, and I'm not sure if we covered like the results or like post after this, but the ladies' night event at the gym.
Oh,
you posted about that, but I don't think we've actually discussed it one-on-one, recapping it. Like you previewed it last time. But yeah, you want to see how that went?
Yeah, I appreciate you following up on that.
Yeah.
That's my problem is I'll pull a Rogan, I'll post and ghost, and then something will happen, and I'm on to the next.
Yeah,
like
a million things happen.
That delayed gratification. I'm bad at kind of celebrating myself and wins, but yeah. So I also don't think we've done a one-on-one since then because we've had some.
I don't think we have.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it. Yeah,
but hosted a ladies' night at the new gym where my new office is at, and those who have been following for a while, I changed where my office is just because last gym they ran out of space. It was a space issue. Nothing past that. Still love that gym. TWR, great gym in the Indy area. So yeah, nothing bad there. It was a space thing. They need space. I need more space. It happens. We're all growing, which that's a good problem to have. But yeah, at the new gym, CrossFit Lupos, hosted. I think we had 12 women come. So one of my clients who I think we're going to have on the show, she has been a very good client of mine, has sent me a good amount of business. So I wanted to host something for her and her friends. Said, hey, text as many female friends of yours as you want. We're going to do a whole night at the gym. The owner, Chris, was there. They actually do have 2 nights a week, 1 weekend workout where it's ladies only, and it's lower skill, so you're not cycling a barbell. It's more kettlebells, dumbbells, just more manageable things. And so, we promoted that, but the coach of that was also there. So they had 3 of us coaches kind of walking around. I made a whole playlist for it. God, one of the best compliments I get is when people love my playlists. I'm not even shitting you.
Facts.
But
good.
Someone was like, Colin, I'm loving this playlist because it was just for ladies' night. Like designed specifically for the ladies. And I'm thinking that 2 or 3 might sign up at the gym just for those workouts because it's a lower price because you're just coming to those, it's 3 workouts a week. But that's still a lot. If you go to even 2 a week, for 4 weeks, a full month, you way more than got your money's worth in that monthly membership just for those 3 workouts. So I think some are going to sign up for that. I got a new client out of it, which is a nice side benefit, but wanted to do something nice for a good client.
Yeah.
But I thought the event went well. It was busy, obviously. There's 3 coaches, 12 women. We all haven't coached together at the same time. Those women haven't done that type of workout before together. So it was a lot of moving parts, but it worked out really well.
Good.
Yeah, so I appreciate you asking, dude. It's it was just fun. Like it was a later night, but it was a good time, and I just wanted to give back to someone who has given me a lot.
Yeah.
So
great. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and it's yeah, dude, it was just fun. Like I love doing those types of things because it gets other people interested in how fitness can be enjoyable.
Yeah,
like
what
I think
you said there, that's so key.
I think we get caught in this. You have to destroy yourself. It's like, no, you're yes, there are going to be hard days when you're going to push your body to extremes. You need to. I believe you need to at certain points, time and place, but that's not all the time, and you can enjoy your workout and still get a good workout in. I don't think it has to be miserable or not fun. And that was the other part of the goal, is show people, hey, you can do these things. It can be a good time. You can do them with other people and you can feel great afterwards and you don't have to feel like death. And it was just, let's make fitness fun and show people that it can be a really good time. And I think we did that.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. And yeah, got a great new client out of it. Like,
good.
We're doing nutrition and training. So
very nice.
Yeah, we're dialing in.
I love it. Okay, so later when I clip that video for social media,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to send me that video of the actual event. Didn't you get some video content?
Oh, I did
from
take
it?
some video, yeah.
Yeah, so send me that video, and when I clip you describing the event, I'm gonna embed the video of that within the video of you talking. So send that to me. You'll like it. I figured out how to do that, by the way.
That is fire.
Clipchamp does it. Clipchamp.
Yeah. And if you leave that in this audio, you won't be mad about it. That's a good little off the dome side quip of, hey, we're gonna do that shit for content. Yeah. This is what it is. That is what business, like running your own thing, is.
Yeah, and that's why those franchise gyms, what's it called, something 45.
Oh, F45.
Yeah, like those gyms, like they do well because the content that they create. The coaches in there, they're always videoing live their classes and they post them to social media.
Sure.
I think that's why those gyms do well, because people have the FOMO thing, like, oh, I want to be a part of that type of thing. So like you doing that for Lupos, like that's CrossFit Lupos, like that's awesome.
Yeah, you see people having a good time with it. Oh, I want to have a fun time. I want to be healthier and get in good shape, but that looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, take us into some business updates and career tips, Tim.
Oh yeah, so, wait, are you done with everything on your end? Let me see.
Oh, I guess I didn't go super business tips. We just talked about.
You can. So I covered kind of like my when I talked about business, when I talked about the packages, that was kind of my business update. But I also had the content one. So if you wanna, I'm gonna cut this out, by the way. But if you want to. Let me see what you had for business updates. Yeah, you're going to do content posting. So I'm going to just have something to add to your first point. So you can just transition it into your business updates.
And then we'll go into your career tips. And then we'll go into mine. Cool. Outside of that, other business things I'm doing, a lot more content, which I think has been kind of our theme. And just really finding more pain points. Mm-hmm. We were talking earlier, I had one video on Instagram and TikTok that did better than my recent postings, and it was an exercise to correct posture, and it kind of just blew up a little bit. Like it didn't go super viral, not like hundreds of thousands of views, but it performed better than everything else. And so it made me realize maybe I'm not hitting enough pain points in my marketing and what I'm delivering. Like, breaking down macros and stuff before you spar or snowboard is cool, but it's not a pain point. Like, losing is painful. How do I tailor, hey, change your food so you don't lose? And just give someone that slight edge in their sport via nutrition. And so now I think I just have to shift gears a little bit. But that's just, learning with the process. So I'm hitting TikTok a lot harder. Every once in a while, Tim, I find myself scrolling through TikTok, doing more just consuming than just post and ghost. I'm getting caught up into it.
Well, I want to talk about that specific thing, consuming it.
Yeah, well, so I just got to be careful.
There's nothing wrong with consuming it. Consuming it's good. I'm going to talk about why consuming is good.
But I don't like to get caught too long.
No, like 10, 15 minutes. Consuming the right things.
But that's the thing. I'm getting caught in random shit where I don't need it.
It's okay. I mean, your brain needs a little break once in a while. Like, it's good.
Other than that, I have a couple nutrition people. One's nutrition and training. She's my military person. Excuse me. And I have two people about a month out. One, I'm going to air quote, her event that we're getting her in shape for is a cruise. Wants to look good, feel good, understandable on vacation. So we're about a month or so out from her, and my military lady, we have a couple weeks before she weighs in for what they call MEPS. So this is going to be for the Air Force, and it's kind of their training. You have to go through your physical training and testing and things like that. So we're cutting weight for that, and she lost weight. She lost about 3 pounds in the last few days, and we haven't hit like the real meat and potatoes of our true quote unquote cutting protocol yet. We've gotten her in really good shape in terms of number on the scale. It hasn't gone down a whole lot the last couple months, which we've talked about. Hey, composition and everything else will change likely before the weight does. But now we're actually cutting weight just because the military does want to see certain numbers on the scale, which is fine. And she's getting a little nervous. I'm like, hey, just follow everything to a T. Do exactly like these next few weeks are critical, but like we got this. And so, we're going to change things from hydration, carb intake, sodium intake, and they will change day by day that last week leading up. So what's nice is we have gotten such a good foundation. Like we've built her up so well. I've had her eat more food, even though eventually we have to cut weight. But now what we've done is lay such a good foundation where cutting weight, it will not be extreme. It will not be as extreme for as long, and it'll be less stress on the body. It'll make it more manageable and easier for her. And then reversing out of that is going to be a whole lot easier as well. So, even though we're going to cut weight, we'll cut weight a little quicker, 10 pounds in a few weeks, but then we're going to reverse out a little bit. We're not going to gain much weight because once we lose weight, our maintenance calorie number changes. We move with that. So that's how people get caught. They don't change that new maintenance when they lose weight. Then they go back to their original number before they started their diet and they blow up and they just balloon again. So I walked her through, hey, this is how it's going to go. Then we'll reverse out nicely via, we're going to start with more protein intake, slowly increase water back, and we'll be fine. So got a couple people were coming down to the wire, and now it's, even if it's not the full package they bought before, have I provided enough value to make them want to continue on with me? Even if, it's training with me in person 1 day a week and I just program their other workouts. And it's, okay, can I increase my retention a little bit longer? Which will also help with, if they do that, I know they're going to talk to their friends. If they keep wanting to pay and continue with what we're doing, I've done my job.
Yeah.
And obviously get them to the result that they need.
Yeah.
That is my number one job, get them the result.
Right.
But now it's, okay, how can I get more retention, have them, speak a little louder for me in my business, and just keep doing everything I can the best to my ability. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun, man. And, you got to talk people off a few ledges. I get it. But those are the conversations. Yeah. And that's been a big thing for me, is making sure I tell them, hey, we got this. I got you. Just stick to the plan. Yeah. I know we're getting close. Stick to the plan. And then I get a text, 5, 6 in the morning. Hey, I reweighed myself 3 times because I didn't believe it. It's working. Just stick to it. Yeah. So. Yeah. Most of the time, like you give people the tools, and they have what they need to get what they want to get done, achieve their goals. But it takes another level to have that person to guide you through the process and have someone like next to you along the way, and then coach them to the point where they don't need you anymore. Because that's when you've done a good job. And that's what I'm trying to do. When they don't need you anymore. Yeah, I show them exactly what I do, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. I have in their Google folder free guides that I've written of how to calculate your macros, your energy expenditure, how to manipulate either way for weight loss, muscle gain, hydration, all those things. Because I'm not a coach for life. If you need me, I'm here. Yeah, we'll dial it in. But whether they're hiring you to get a new career, or me to lose weight or gain muscle or sports performance, listen to the coach. Yeah. That's why they're there. So stick to the plan and be consistent, and they'll get you there. Yeah, so for sure. All right, I've been rambling. Yeah, I wanted to go back to what you're saying about the content too, about creating content. Like whether you're if you're a marketing person that works for a company and you're trying to create content, if you're a solo entrepreneur trying to create content, if you're anybody trying to build a brand and you're man, I don't have any content ideas. What do I post about? What content? It's all out there. I promise you. Because I was reading an article about what are the top social media trends to watch for in 2023. And one thing that really stuck out that I think already started to do, but I think it's really going to have a huge impact, is social listening. Social listening. So what that means is finding out where your ideal customer hangs out online, going and
and then going and seeing what pain points that they're talking about online. Whether it's, and we talked about this a little bit.
We talked about this with Reddit.
With Reddit.
Yeah.
So Reddit, people are on there talking about problems they face, Facebook groups. So like these different places, like you can find out what the problems they're facing. You can engage with them, but you can also take the question that they asked and use that as a topic for your next video or your piece of content that you make. So the businesses that know where to look and how to answer those customer pain points, like they're gonna ones that are gonna be most successful. And so TikTok specifically, what I've been doing with TikTok is I have been consuming all of the information from the top people in my industry. Because I can promise you, like, I'm not the first person to give career coaching advice. Like, you're not the first person to coach athletes. Like,
right.
We're not like pioneering anything. But like, I will go to their profiles and I will look at viral videos that they posted, and that's where I'll get content ideas. But even more importantly, like, go to the comments of the people who like are the leaders in your industry, like the people that have like 600,000 or 6-figure followers or 7-figure followers who are getting like thousands of comments on each of their posts. They can't answer every single one of those comments because there's too many of them. But there are people that are commenting on these that are asking them questions that they don't have the time to address or whatever. That's valuable content too, about people asking questions about a topic that they post, and then you can create a video addressing that question that person commented on.
That's so smart. Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing, but I've also been like looking at like if I have like a topic that I want, like resume writing, interview prep, sports performance, like whatever like general topic that you are confident about creating content for, go into TikTok and search that, and it'll pull up a bunch of videos that have done well, that have performed well, and you can see which ones have performed well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying copy the video that they did, but make a similar video that communicates it and resonates with people in a better way.
Yeah.
Like whether you want to put visuals with it, whether you want to give more specific examples on how to do that thing that person posted in that video, like and then mirror the hashtags and the things that they use to get traction on the platform. I think I've seen much more engagement with my videos in the last week after implementing that tactic.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. That's good. Just finding what people are really having a problem with.
Yeah, that's what matters. Like, yeah, I can sit in my room all day and like just think, oh, what can I post about today? That's not gonna get me very far. Not gonna get me very far. Yeah. But like, I gotta continue to be attuned to what the people that I serve, like what they're saying every day, because that's gonna constantly change, and that's the fun part of the game. That's why I've enjoyed, like, ever since I got my office and I've been able to start producing content. Like, I fall more and more in love with it because I know that I'm solving problems that people are talking about.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah,
that's awesome. God, I'm gonna do that today. Great, I'm gonna get on my phone so much more now than I already am.
And dude, you gotta be intentional about it. Like,
yeah,
I have like an hour blocked out. Like, hey, I'm gonna get on my computer and I'm gonna research for an hour.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna create like some topic ideas, and I'm gonna dedicate a different hour on a different day to writing out the content that I'm gonna talk about on that video. And I'm gonna spend another hour doing the video.
Nice. Okay.
Videos.
Yeah. That's that good consumption you're probably talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then doing that has a lot, like, how can I relate those free videos to like what I'm gonna sell e-commerce going forward for the next 10 years?
Yeah. So how have what are some ideas you have in ways to do that?
Do what?
Like, do you have some videos already where you've connected this pain to, I know you're having the simpler guide, so now are you making videos for, hey, how to go from, education to a completely different role?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're starting to make more videos like that, tailored with your guides.
Yeah, and I find that like I've already done that, and like when I create these videos, like I've already created some type of content for that for my programs, but like continually aligning each other, because I have bits and pieces here that I've already created. I have bits and pieces that I'm learning about what the customer's saying. It's all tying together. That's what's most exciting about it. But how can I hold it in and present it in a way that will resonate with people? So,
what would you say your biggest topic of research is currently? Like, what's the thing you're diving into the most right now?
I would say the relationship building, influencing dynamic within an interview. That's what I think.
Okay.
I've noticed that a lot of my videos have been about that lately. I'm trying to do more, like even it out, because I have interview prep, resume writing and cover letter writing, LinkedIn profile, and just general career development. How can I just be a better professional and personal human being? So those are like my different buckets of like content I post, but the content I post, how can I relate that to the things that I'm going to sell later on and market it? So, and at this point, like on TikTok, I think in the past, since like first week of August, I think I put like 50 to 60 videos out there.
So you're
like,
out every day.
Yeah, because I think the more I do this, the more I save these. Like, it's just nice having them if I ever need to like refer back to them, because I drive. But yeah. Bottom line is, like, I just want to help as many people as possible. That's I want to put it out there. And like I mentioned before, like whenever I see someone like save one of my videos and like for their own, like that just fires me up. So, yeah.
It's like, oh, we created enough value. They're going to keep this thing. Like for reference later.
Yeah.
Within your research for dynamics in an interview, what's probably the biggest takeaway so far? Like anything new that's come to light that'll help you better with your clients, in guides, like any different thing you've seen in how to interact in an interview that maybe you hadn't thought of before?
I would just say empathy as much as possible. You want to find out, depending on who you're interviewing with, because like if you're interviewing with a frontline HR person who's just screening you, that's different than if you're interviewing with a person who's going to be your supervisor for this role. So know your audience. That's the first thing. Like, know who you're talking to and how you're going to present yourself. If you're talking to a frontline HR person who's just screening you, you don't need to go into depth on how you're going to impact the company through this role. They don't really care about that. The director will, who's hiring for it. But I would just say empathy and like getting into the mind of the other person about what they want to achieve out of hiring this person for this role. Whatever questions you have to ask to find that out, your ability to ask questions and find that out is going to separate you from all the other candidates. So I kind of walk into like, hey, here are the questions you can ask about this. Here are questions you can ask about this. Here are answers, examples of answers that you can give to this. So that's kind of what I've been diving into. And yeah, it just all goes back to how can you ask the most unique questions? How can you get to the bottom of what this business is trying to solve? And it's even more important for smaller companies. Like if you're applying for like a startup or a smaller company, that hiring one person for that company is a pretty big deal to them. It's going to be a big expense for them. So like you really want to initiate that conversation and make sure you're really helping them out. Obviously it's different for a bigger company, a Fortune 500 company. They can afford to like hire an employee and lose them within 3 months, because that's expensive. But I mean, it's even more important for like a smaller company. That's a big investment for them.
Do you have any go-to questions that like? So you and I think we're pretty good at reading people, reading a room, and we just have a little more natural empathetic level. Like it's just the way we're wired. Do you have any go-to questions if someone thinks they might not be as deeply empathetic, not because I don't want to be, just hey, I don't know if I have as much empathy right now, like just in terms of experience, or maybe someone is more sympathetic than empathetic. Do you have a good question that they could ask in an interview, or how to relate a story to get to that level to where the person interviewing them is like, oh, we're kind of going a little deeper than most candidates here. I like where this is going. Any go-tos?
How will I be evaluated in this role? How will success be evaluated in this role? When you work for a company, it's all evaluation performance-based, right? Like there's performance reviews, like, and I feel like a lot of times when managers and people, they don't get along, or if an employee quits or if they get fired, it all came back to the manager and the person. They didn't communicate about how they're performing well. There was a miscommunication on how their performance is. They didn't know why they got fired or something like that. So in the interview, ask, how will I be evaluated in this role? Ask, like, from your perspective, what does success look like in this role? Like the most successful people that could do this role, what will that look like, and really understand, like, get on the same page right away about how they're going to evaluate you if you get this role, and like what you need to work for, because I think that will give you a lot of information about what the company wants to achieve through this role. It says a lot about their feedback process, because feedback processes are a big determinant of employee engagement, culture, different stuff like that. So I think any questions about that is good.
And I think that's a great question. So thank you for sharing that. But I think it will also give that person interviewing for the job an idea of what their work from day to day is actually going to consist of, which I think is huge, because a lot of times, like, we've all seen it and probably experienced it. The job isn't what we thought it was going to be. And then people are stuck in this role that they really don't like as much. So yeah, knowing how you're going to be evaluated and what success in that role is, that's a monster question to have. So, all right, right on, dude. Right on.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Of course. All right. What? Any other career tips? I know we kind of detoured, deep dived a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna give just a quick actionable tip about whether you just started a company, or if you're working a job where, like, you're bored or you're running out of tasks or things to do. What to do at work when that happens, because I know when you get hired by a company, you learn a lot of new information at once. You get onboarded, but I've talked with people who that'll happen, and then they're just not sure what to do next. They don't have enough projects, or this could even be someone who's been in a company for a while that's kind of like hit a lull, kind of bored. So first thing to do is, like, whoever you report to, whoever you work a lot with on a daily basis, whether it's your boss, supervisor, cross-functional teams, ask them, is there anything I can do to make your life easier? Just ask that question. It's amazing how, one, you'll gain goodwill from them, like they'll like you better for asking that question, but that may open up a conversation about a project you can do for them. So that's one thing. If they say, no, I don't have anything for you to do, self-education. At the end of the day, you get paid to learn. A company is paying you to obviously do your job, but you get paid to learn. So one thing that I like to tell people when they ask, like, what do I learn about, is there's soft skills and there's hard skills. So, like, soft skills are like your ability to build relationship, communicate, present ideas, negotiate, influence, all the stuff that's like interpersonal, relationship based. And then there's hard skills like Microsoft Excel, data analysis, like hard, like different stuff like that. So what I would do there is, like, if you're going to learn about soft skills, learn about relationship building, how to present, how to public speaking, practice, negotiation, stuff to influence others. I think is the first thing to do there. Technical skills, if you start a job and you go back and read the job description of the job that you got hired for, go through that and read, like, hey, is there anything in here that I don't know how to do as well? Is there anything that I'm not as confident with? Highlight those things in the job description that you don't know, and teach them, and then teach yourself how to do those things in your spare time while you're bored. So if it asks for knowledge in Excel and you're not as good as Excel, hone your Excel skills. If it asks for, hey, like, you need to learn how to use this project management tool, like I know a lot of companies that use Jira. Some people don't know how to use Jira. Learn the ins and outs.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, learn the ins and outs of the technical systems that company uses. Different stuff like that. So first, like, ask your boss for projects. If they say no, do self-educate, get paid to learn. And the third thing is network within the company. So, I mean, regardless of what job you have at a company, it's interconnected with other parts of the company in some way. If you work in finance, like, there's a sales department that you can go learn about. Like, there's different things that you can learn about within your company that help you do your job better, because you realize the greater impact on the company. So schedule 15 to 30 minute one-on-ones with as many people in your company as possible. Reach out to them and be like, hey, I just started here, or hey, I'm looking to learn about the business. I want to really understand how my role fits with your group, with our people. Will always be down to spend 15 to 30 minutes to talk about what they do. So if you can learn about what other people do at your company, maybe you identify an opportunity for you to help them out with something that you know how to do. So initiate those conversations.
And that could be, you go to we'll stick with your two examples, finance and sales. If you're in the finance department in some capacity, schedule that one-on-one and say, hey, when you go to sell our product or service, whatever it is, how do you use our finance in order to sell?
Yeah.
And if you don't or can't use it that much, would it be helpful if there was a different way for you to use it? What could we provide you to make selling easier? And then, I mean, more sales helps the whole company.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I mean, have the water cooler talk. You know,
Yeah.
We're working from home quite a bit, but we're getting back in the office. So have the water cooler talk. There's something to be said about it.
Yeah. I can promise you, like, if you work at a Fortune 500 company, a small company, any company, and you want to grow and build and move up and maybe run the company someday or be like a C-level person or like reach the top level of that company, you're not going to get there by just staying in your silo and doing your one job well. You're going to need to learn about all aspects of the business because eventually you're going to need to know that to do that higher level role. So start now and have those one-on-one conversations with people in other departments of your company.
Love it.
Simple as that.
Everything's people.
Lori Locke talked about, like, that was a big reason why Lori Locke is an officer of a publicly traded company because she had those conversations with people all the time. Yeah,
she's chief accounting, and you know, accountants talk to people all the time, and you think they're just crunching numbers, and she's like, no, I talk to people all the time.
Yeah,
she's always doing something interrelational with people, whether it's lunches or just how can I make your job easier? Is there something you need from me?
Right.
Do you have any go-to resources for, you were talking about soft and hard skills, and I think hard skills, if you're not good at Excel, you can Google, you know, programs for Excel, or, you know, just buy it and go through a tutorial.
Yeah.
But for soft skills, you know, there's umpteen different articles and blogs on, you know, how to be empathetic or this and that. Do you have any things that you specifically research, or whether it is Google or a book, any resources that you can give people to improve their interpersonal skills?
Yeah, I would say first define your learning style. Like, do you like to read books or do you like to watch videos?
Okay.
So if you're someone who likes to read books, I mean, there are several books on influence and persuasion. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I've read that book 17 times for good reason.
It's a good book.
The Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini. That's a good one on interpersonal, how to influence people. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry. Those are 3 really good books for interpersonal, interacting with people, different stuff like that. When it comes to like videos, like YouTube, just go to YouTube and type in whatever you want to learn about. And I mean, YouTube, obviously, like, pick your choice on which video you want. Go to videos that have a lot of views, people who have had a proven track record of success on the platform. Learn from there. I would say, I'm trying to think of a podcast that talks about influence. Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, because I haven't really been listening to as many podcasts lately. But yeah, I would just say those three things. Things I would focus on in terms of learning that. But yeah, don't overestimate those one-on-one conversations with people, though. If you learn through one-on-one conversations, when you have those one-on-ones with people, ask them those questions that you want to learn about as well, because that's valuable information too about someone who's done well at interpersonal and influencing people. They can pass those on to you. One-on-one.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah.
Get a little toasty in here.
All right. I think I'm good in terms of yeah, I think we're ready for book talk.
I'm gonna do my career tip.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Just trying to glaze right over. I get it.
What about me?
What about Bob? You ever seen that movie? What About Bob?
No.
It's an old. I forget who else is in it, but oh nuts! Who is it? It's not Robin Williams. Oh my gosh. Who's the guy? Have you seen Stripes? Bill Murray. Bill Murray. And he's the patient of, I think he's a psychologist, and this guy's gone for the weekend at a family getaway, and Bob ends up having a crisis and goes to the person's like beautiful lake house and just embeds within the family. It's hilarious. But it's What About Bob? And so when you, what about
That's hilarious.
All right. So my career tip today is if you are in a caloric deficit and still not losing weight. And I've written about recently, if you're on a certain diet like keto and not losing weight. I've talked about some things in that nature, but if you're just in a caloric deficit and you're working out and you're just not seeing the number on the scale move, one, make sure you are in a caloric deficit. So I have a guide on my website to figure out how much you should be eating in terms of calories. You can go check that out, optimalfitnessrx.com. That's faux free. But yeah, make sure you are in a deficit. So you need to be burning more than you are consuming. If you're not actually doing that, so if you need to track your food and your activity, do that. It's a pain in the ass, but you need to know where you're at or where you're not. Also, look at your weight training. Are you doing enough weight training? It's not just all cardio to lose weight. Now, depending on the person, some people might lose weight faster with more cardio than weights. That's my case. If I stop the weights and just start running, I can lose weight a whole lot easier than I can put it on. Just my genetic makeup, my build, all those things. But for most people, if you want to lose weight, you need to be training with weights. It's just scientifically proven time and time again that is more substantial for weight loss than strictly doing cardio. Now, I have clients where we will intertwine the two, but there's a lot of weight training still. So make sure you're doing enough of that. And what is the quality of your food? This is, hey, I'm tracking, it's in my macros, I'm in a deficit, I'm still not losing weight. What's your food quality? That still matters. I'm not saying a burger and fries doesn't have its time and place. I'm not saying that's a quote unquote bad food, but there is bad application too. So are you having just snacks, things out of bags and boxes every day, all day, high processed foods? If that's the case, you need to switch to get more whole foods in your diet. I'm not talking about going to the store, just whole foods like chicken, lean ground meats, doing things like rices and quinoas. If pasta agrees with you and your body, then implement that every once in a while too. I'm not saying go heavy breads and pastas, but get more foods that are closer to their original form. Chicken breasts, like I said, ground meats, potatoes, rices if that agrees with you. Things like that. So look at your food quality as well. If you're in that deficit, make sure you have good quality foods, not just things that are highly palatable. Good intake of fruits and vegetables daily. Also hydration. If you're getting a ton of cravings, one, make sure you're eating enough, but two, you can curb a craving start with water and wait 5 to 10 minutes. Drink some water, wait it out, make sure you're truly hungry and that you're not just bored. Because I got a break with work, break in between meetings, kind of bored, what should I do? Oh, maybe I'll eat something. Do you need to eat something, or are you just looking for something to do? Learn a skill that you need to improve your role within your job. Soft or hard skills. Drink some water first. And also, how long have you been in that alleged deficit? Have you been there for 6, 7, 8 months? Because if so, then you need to change it up. You need to increase your calories a little bit, probably, because eventually your body will get efficient. It's very smart. So you need to feed it a little more, implement a refeed day. If your deficit is 1,500 calories and you've been writing 1,500 calories a day, every day, month in, month out for 5, 6 months, you should implement a refeed day, if not a full week. And what I mean by that is just having a day where you eat back up to your maintenance calories, not your deficit calories. Not going surplus, just go to maintenance. So add 1 day, but if you've been in that deficit for a long time, maybe do that for a week. You might go up a little bit in weight, but when you go back to that deficit, you'll see that number go back down. And you can facilitate more weight loss. So those are some things to look out for. How much weight training are you doing? What's your food quality? How long have you been at that caloric deficit? And make sure you're actually burning more than you are consuming. And what you can do is, if you are training well, you're eating right, you're in a deficit, look at your other stressors. How's your personal life? What are your other stressors in life? What's your sleep? There are so many factors, but you can also just add steps. So before you cut more calories, add more movement if you can. If your schedule allows, go on another 30-minute walk. Get to 10,000 steps a day. That's a good average, where if you're doing that with all your other things, you're eating right, you're sleeping well, stressors are, for the most part, pretty low and managed, you're going to see change. So those are just some things that you really want to check off that you are doing. Again, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but those are some of the biggest things.
Yeah.
And then just be consistent.
Yeah.
Stay consistent. So, food quality, overall stressors, make sure you're burning more than you're consuming, make sure you're weight training, and stay consistent.
Gotcha. Do you have like a formal checklist that has that stuff that people can have?
I don't, but I might have just started to make one.
I think that's a very, because there's a lot there, and for someone who has a million things going on their plate, like it would be nice to have a visual that they can look at to kind of check off those things if they're not seeing what they want. Out of all those things you listed, is there anything that's the most common reason why they're not losing weight or something? Because like obviously they all play a part in the pie, but do you see anything that's more common than the others that you like kind of check off first, or is it just kind of?
I would say it varies, but at the end of the day, I'd say the thing where people lose it the most is consistency.
Yeah.
And I just brought on a new person where that's her biggest thing. Like, she's not foreign to the gym. She's had good workout regimens before, and she recently had a kid. She'll be on for a couple weeks, then off for a month or so, and they kind of go this back and forth.
Yeah.
But I'd say the biggest thing is consistency.
Yeah.
Even if your eating is okay, but you're weight training a few days a week, your sleep is back and forth, your stress is a little high, but if you are consistent, you will still have some amount of change.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest thing where people lose it is consistency.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's, due to whatever their schedule or lifestyle. A lot of times some form of accountability, or just not having a sustainable plan.
Yeah.
Like they have, we see these extremes on the internet. People do these extreme regimens. It's just not sustainable. It's not real life. It's not realistic for most people. So if you don't have something that's sustainable and manageable, you won't be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you will not get results.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot, like some of the things here, they're more like technical, analytical things, like hydration, sodium, carb intake. That's more like analytical. Like,
that's a
how much
weight
weight training. It's more analytical. The two like most actionable, like easy things to apply to here are the quality of your food and your stressors. So if like if you can be consistent with the food in some way, and like budget time for you to be like a happy human being and like move your body, if you can just kind of fix those two things first, like I think the other things may fall into place.
Yeah, totally agree.
For the most part.
And
those are more like, those aren't really like analytical things. Those are more like just like overall like just general like choices, I guess.
Yeah.
So
and chronic stress is the killer of all things.
Yeah.
So if you're too stressed out, you won't lose weight no matter how much you cut calories or how good you're eating. But yeah, you can change the quality of your food, and depending on your stress levels, we can alter stress levels with our food. So maybe you do need to back off your HIIT workouts, add a little more resistance training, which is still a stressor, but back off how hard you're going and eliminate some of that.
Yeah.
Then we can alter our food to help with stress too. So there's so many things that one can affect the other positively or negatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Those are two things that are very actionable.
Yeah.
It is food quality and look at your stressors.
Yeah, and like the stressors thing, like it may be just something as small as if you work a 9-to-5 job and you work in an office and you don't like budget 30 minutes to go take a walk. Right. Maybe just doing that once a day may help you out and move your body throughout the day, because that helps you out too.
Well, look, dude, when I worked at Simon, I would go. I had like you got your work friends that you jive with, and a handful of my work friends would go out and smoke. When they'd go smoke, I'd go outside too.
Yeah.
And not that I went to smoke, I would just stand outside and we'd chit chat for 10 minutes or so, then go back inside. If they can do that to go smoke, why can't I do that just for some fresh air, a quick breather, a little sunshine? Then I'm back. Gives me 10 minutes to just step away from the screen, look at the same thing. If I had an issue with it, fresher eyes. All right, now I'm ready to work again.
Right.
I would do that all the time.
Yeah. And if like you're someone who's like, oh, like I have a boss that gets mad at me if I do that, or if I have a boss that is all about productivity, like, and I create a video on this, and I have a program about this, about work-life balance, but like, it really just communicate to your boss, like, hey, for me to perform this job well and bring the most positive energy, I need to also make time to do this. I need to make time for that 30-minute walk, because that helps me be better with customers and produce better work. Like, give a reason for why you want to do that, and how it relates personal and professionally.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, do they want number of hours worked or the number of results and productivity done?
Yeah.
Like what do they really want? They want the job to get done and done well. So whether it's 9 hours or 6 hours, as long as it's done the right way, let's not split any more hairs than that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, let's get a little down and nerdy with it, Tim. Take us there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wooden, Game Plan for Life.
Oh,
one of my favorite
about
books.
This book before.
One of my favorite books.
Let's go. Hit us with it.
Yeah, he talks about life lessons his dad gave him, Joshua Wooden. And I just want to recap a few of those. Be true to yourself. That's the first thing he said. So, regardless of what stage of life you're in, stay true to who you are as a person, but also be bounded by a worthy ideal or something that you're working towards. So if you want to be a better husband and have a more harmonious family, write that down. That's something that you can work for. If you want to work a job where have work-life balance or whatever, write that down. Like, have your values and the things that you need in your life to be a healthy individual, and have those present in front of you all the time, and stay true to that. Make each day your masterpiece. He also taught him that. So what I get from that is you should have your routine. You should have the things you do every day. Yeah. Your work routine, but you should have at least one thing each day that's unique or outside of that regular routine that you look forward to. That's something that you can look forward to that day. If you're in an intramural league, if you take a walk every day, if you take a bike ride, like, you should have like one like unique thing that will make that day a masterpiece that you look back on and like, oh, that was a unique masterpiece because I did that day.
I like that.
Help others. So kind deeds are good, but have you ever just listened to someone and allowed them to tell you about their day? Like, that's something that can help other people. Yeah. So I thought that was good too. Drink deeply from good books. And this could be books or podcasts. And it's one thing to read and drink deeply from a book, but it's another thing to apply that thing in your daily life. So focus on the application as well. And document your progress too. If you like to journal, write things down. When you read things from these books, it's one thing to just read the book and put it down. Write it out on how you're going to apply it for your day, and write out the result of what happened when you applied it. And then eventually it's going to be second nature, and you won't need to write it out. Nice. And then I would say the last thing is build a shelter against a rainy day. I thought that was interesting that his dad told him. And what I get from that is just save 10% of your income at least. Okay. Like the money that you bring in, you should save it for a rainy day. Which that's obvious, but like. So you're saying take 10% every time you get paid, 10% to save. Yep. Okay. Or invest or whatever. That's good. Yeah. Well, no, I misquote me. Save it so that you have cash readily available to use. And how much do you think you should invest from each paycheck? I mean, another 10%. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not. Yeah. I have my own that I do, but I think that 10% that you save, you can either maybe dedicate 2% of that 10% to investing, and maybe the other 8% to cash. Okay. Or if you want to do the 10% to your savings account and do an extra 5% or 10%, you should. Yeah. I can't really give advice because everyone makes different. Yeah, we're not giving advice here. I'm just asking Tim what he does for himself. Yeah, but relax, everybody. Bottom line is have a system that you can, like you said, consistency. Whether it's eating right, whether it's saving money, you should have some type of system that makes it consistent for you. So, yeah. I like those. Yeah, you've talked about John Wooden's book before. Just a lot of good things. I still haven't read it, but I always love when you bring up. There's this one. I love when you bring up. Emotional intelligence, and then there's something with the devil in the title. Outwitting the Devil.
Yes.
Napoleon Hill.
Those are some of my favorites when you bring those up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have anything very recently you've gotten from that you've drank from a good book or podcast that you have recently applied to improve your progress in your business or personal life, I guess?
It's definitely the content creation.
Content creation, yeah.
Gary Vee.
Makes sense.
Like there was a point where I didn't listen to Gary Vee for 2 years because I don't know why, whatever. I was doing it, but
it kind of gets repetitive. Like a little
yeah.
goes a long way sometimes if you've been riding with him for a while.
But if you really pay attention to him, he gives you like unique, actionable things that you can do to create content for your business and just build a brand in general. Like I love what he's doing. Like I think he used to be more repetitive, but I think now he's really like in tune to like what's going on macroeconomically and like what you can do to kind of prepare for that. But also like I would just say the things that what really has stuck out to me that he said is like the brands that are going to be sustainable, they don't like invent from within, that like they're externally facing and they listen to what the customers say. And I learned from him how to listen to my customer. And it's been right out in front of me this entire time, like the internet, like.
Might need to tune back into Gary Vee. I've been off him for a while.
Yeah, and like I'm probably gonna go off of him again because I learned this and I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and I think he's good because like if you're having like a tough day or if you need a kick in the ass, like listening to one thing he says for 5 minutes a week is good.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, I would say that thing is knowing how to listen to my end user and knowing where to go to find that information. I think is the biggest thing I've taken from him specifically.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
Yeah.
And not that I've quit listening to him because I don't like him. I love Gary Vee. It's just your comment earlier how you haven't listened to as many podcasts. It's like we're also doing so much more in our day too, where it's hard to listen and edit a video or record a video. Like we're doing so much more where I'm the same. I don't listen to as many podcasts really unless I'm driving. So it's just not that I don't love it. When I was working in corporate, I'd listen to 5-6 podcasts a day. And now it's just not so much so. But yeah, no, that's good, man. And yeah, man, I've seen you post every day consistently, man.
Dude, it's fun.
Like,
I love it.
And you sent me a snap not too long ago. I'm not good enough to not be consistent. Ryan Mickler, shout out.
Yeah.
What a man. And same. Yeah, if I'm not consistent, like who am I?
Yeah.
I'm nobody.
It gives you credibility too. Like you will be surprised, like the more you do it, like just having people reach out to me and be like, hey, like I've implemented this from your video. I'm creating content myself. I've been doing this because you've been doing it on yours, and like people reaching out for stuff. Like it when you do it, like at first when you create content, like you're doing it for free. Like this is free time. Like I mean I could be using that time to build more resumes and make more money, but like you gotta really have a why behind why you do things. And you gotta look at it from like a long-term perspective. But yeah, going back to what you said as well, Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. That's another audiobook that I've recently listened to that I've applied something.
Okay.
So this card right here, he talked about like you become what you think about.
Yeah.
Which he has like an episode. He goes through all the thought leaders in the past like 100 years that have said this same exact quote in a different way. You become what you think about.
Yeah.
Different ways to say it. Like it's not a novel concept. But he says like have like a note card that you write like 3 things that you want to become and like have it accessible and read it like multiple times a day. Like read it like when you wake up, read it right before you go to bed, read it before you like leave the house. Like you don't have to read it like a certain amount of times, but like read it as much as you can. And like this card, like I'm not gonna tell you what's on this card, but like this card is like what is gonna guide me for the next 10 years. And like there may be things that like you like add or like change on here. Like I have a certain amount of money that I want to make on here, but I know that I'm gonna eventually make it and have to change the card.
Sure.
It's a different like your thing will change, but like have something that like binds you to like everything you do on a daily basis. So I have one thing here that's personal and like family. I have one thing on here that's involved around like resume writing, career coaching, like my business, and then I have another thing on here about our podcast and like what I want to do with our podcast. So
I need to get myself a card.
Oh yeah,
I need to write it down.
So
and
you're already doing this anyway with your marker board. Like you have something that you have out in front of you anyway. It's like the same type of thing. So
I have like Colin Slager as a brand. Like, what is my brand? And like third bullet points, but I don't have something more in depth. And I think that card is where I can put more like very specific things, numbers. Like, cause I have dollar amounts in my head, but I know eventually like that won't stop me from doing what I'm doing. Once I hit those amounts, like I'll still like, I don't think I'll ever stop working. I'll just do more of things that I love doing.
Yeah. And that card too, like even though you're going to be specific about it, you're going to have numbers. It like there will be things that you do that aren't as fun, or things that like responding to a customer that has a complaint, or like the grit work that no one really talks about. Looking at that card helps me through times like those, because I have to do these things in this next 15 minutes that are going to help me do this over the next 10 years type of thing. Kind of get you to those tough.
Love that shit.
Those tough tasks.
Yeah, do that dirty trench work, man.
Yeah.
You gotta live in it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But but the dirty trench work in a way, you like your brain is like engaged in doing it and wants to do it because you have that thing written out in front of you.
The goal in mind. Yeah.
So
and it's like, what beautiful home doesn't have a solid foundation? Like, you want the structure to last. But yeah, man, I love and hate the trench work. Like, I'll just like, I know you don't mind writing processes and manuals for like your business, like when you hire for scaling and when you hire someone. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
But I have to. How do you schedule a new patient? Open up your calendar. Like, oh, it kills me. But it's got to be done if I want to hire people.
Yeah.
But man, I love your book talk kind of led into my book talk, because you were talking about content and credibility. And mine is Credibility Method by Mike Metzger. And he's actually on the team of Something Growing events as well. So he's helping do our marketing for our cannabis and psychedelics conventions. But he's got one chapter and it's reinvent. And so I kind of just paraphrased a little bit, reinvent yourself. Because that's what you're doing. If you're doing something unique, something that you want to do, creating your own business, you have to reinvent yourself. You do. And he had a great little blurb where it was about changing your outward image can be hard, which it can, like putting the camera on you, talking to a camera, posting a story or a video where your face is on there, you're talking to people, and now it's out for the entire world to see. It's hard to get in the routine of being okay with doing that. And luckily, like, you and I are there, but I remember the day when it was like, oh, we're on a mic and it's no one can see us and it's still a little iffy. It's like, it's out there now. It's out there. But that can be hard. But if you understand why it's hard, the process gets easier. And so what that can get into is you need to respect yourself. So why is it hard? Do you not respect what you're doing? Do you not respect yourself? Do you think you don't know enough or have experience in that field? And if it's a knowledge and experience thing, like, just go get it. Get the continued education you need, your books, your podcasts, your certifications, your courses, whatever you need, and start doing the things. Like, you're going to start from zero. And yeah, we're all going to suck at something. We started zero for a while. But, respect yourself too, where if that's where you are really drawn towards whatever, whether it's career coaching, resumes, nutrition, or anything else, playing an instrument, like, respect yourself and put it out there, because everything that you put in, he relates to, it's like a loudspeaker. So every great thought that you're plugging into that speaker is what's going to reflect outwardly, and that reflects on you. So if you have, you're being positive, but you understand, hey, I'll post about the days when it's not going as well, but I'm still in a good mindset to take that and learn from it. Or are you super negative all the damn time? Like, what's going through your loudspeaker? What are people really getting to listen to? And if you think, oh, people aren't really paying attention, people are. So, what are you putting into your loudspeaker, and reinvent yourself to do just that. And it kind of just reaffirmed like what you and I are doing of more content and how we're delivering. And, okay, a post doesn't perform as well as something else. All right, what about that one? Did I change or not change well enough? And it's just kind of reinventing, but we're putting good things into our loudspeaker. But then in that same chapter, it was because what you and I are doing, we're trying to solve painful points for people. We're trying to solve bigger issues. A new career, that's a big issue. I need to change jobs. That's a big fucking deal. Oh, I need to lose weight to get into the military or for this sport, like whatever. Those are bigger problems for people. Getting in shape, someone's health is a big deal. And he asked this question, and I kind of want to ask you, Tim, and I know you probably read through my notes, but if I were to ask you why you don't work at McDonald's, what would be a top answer or two of why you don't work at McDonald's?
Because I believe I can best serve the world in a more meaningful way by doing something else.
Okay. Yeah. Great answer.
I can utilize my talents in a different way.
Yeah. And some people might say, oh, I can make more money. The hours suck. It's not as exciting. And he said, Mike Metzger in his book, is what he looks for is, well, anyone can do that. And I'm sure there's someone that's not able to do some things, but like he said, if a homeless person got cleaned up, walked in for an interview, they could probably get a job at McDonald's. And it made me think of Elon said, once you get paid based on the problems you solve. Like, what's the size of the problem you're solving? Their burger for lunch or getting them a new job, which Tim has a 98% job placement rate.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah. How well you solve the problem, too.
Yeah, exactly. Do you get that result?
Yeah.
And it's... yeah.
What does solving the problem look like?
Yeah, anyone can flip a burger and do fries. Like, you are doing things that other people cannot do. Like, you are looking and creating resumes and helping people in interviews, and you are solving problems that other people do not know how to solve. And that is a big issue.
Yeah.
So it really, this chapter really grabbed me because it's, you and I are inventing ourselves in different ways. And like through the course of this podcast, it's fun to see where we started and what kind of jobs we were doing then. And everything that's happened along the way to date.
Damn, dude.
And it's how much reinventing have we done over and over and over. And it's getting comfortable with uncomfortable things. And just now our loudspeaker, I feel like we're more dialed.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, we are trying to solve big problems for people.
Yeah.
And it's just, reinvent. And more creating that credibility.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Woo!
Book talk.
Yeah.
And
I think, like, how can you solve the problem better than other people? And I think, what questions can you ask that person that no one else is going to ask? Because, like, those questions are going to yield the solution that you provide.
Right.
So.
And provoke someone's different level of thought.
Yeah.
Like when we love it when we're with a guest, interviewing with a guest on the show, and they say, wow, that's a really great question.
Yeah, that gets me going.
Even better, no one's ever asked me that before. Fuck yeah, no one's ever asked you that before.
Facts.
Let's go. Like,
Facts.
We love that shit.
Yeah.
Because, we want people to ask us things that we've never thought of or been asked. Because it provokes a different level of thinking. And maybe we solve someone else's or our own problem in a better way than we ever thought to do so.
Yeah.
And so your point on asking good questions, that gets people thinking so differently in a way, oh, I could fix that problem this way. You asked me this question. I've never thought about that. That is a problem I could help solve. That's a part of my business I've never thought of adding. That's a new service, a new guide, a new program, an ebook, whatever. But you're spot on. The right question can help someone just launch something else into a whole different direction and just be better. So
I love it.
Oh man, what a good episode. This is a great episode, man. I fucking love our job.
Yeah.
It's like in movie Fury. Best job I ever had.
Yeah.
In the tank.
Yeah.
Best job I ever had. All right, Tim, anything else for our incredible, loyal listeners?
No, I would just say, thank you again for joining us today, and for, as we approach 200 episodes, we appreciate every hour, every minute, every second you've been with us along the way. I just did the math really quickly, 98 episodes, that's approximately 16.5 straight days of us doing podcast, like a 16.5 day podcast. That's how long that is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just did the math. Crazy. So yeah, thank you for like being along with us this far, and yeah, like we mentioned, like with our own businesses, we like understanding what our customers, the problems they're facing, and we love talking about that, creating content that applies to our podcast. So please reach out if there's anything you want us to talk about or cover, or somebody wants to bring on the show. So yeah,
100%.
Thank you again.
And if you guys are liking the show, please head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Really helps us get some more visibility, more momentum. And if you want to hear something like Tim said, leave it there as well. DMs, anything, but please leave us that 5-star rating and review. It takes literally 20 seconds or less. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we are out of here.
Okay, so Randy's intro.
And then ours.
Well, we'll do this intro first, Randy's intro, and then we got to get a couple availability dates to send.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Cool.